Am I still live?
Yeah, you're gone. You're live. Your sound's better.
I'm still live and I can hear sound over there. I'm echoing. Sorry, I had to do sign language. So the sign language was not even once, guys. That is our message to you. I want to show you what I have next to me here. Which you can probably see. It's a stand with our merchandise. And guys, we are now preparing a merch stand like this to go into stores. So we're talking to a few gyms, we're talking to a few retail outlets. If you have a store and you want to support Australian Anti-Ice campaign, to put a merch stand like this in your store and help us sell some merchandise, 100% of the profits from this come back to help us educate the community and help other people that are in addiction, create pathways into recovery, and also help families that have loved ones that are struggling with addiction. And it's really tough when you have a loved one that's destroying themselves, and you can see your loved one doing that, and you actually don't know what to do and how you can help. And to be quite honest, you can't be more prepared. You can't ever be prepared for this. So people think, oh yeah, that won't happen to me. My kids had a good upbringing. Well, let me tell you that ICE doesn't discriminate. And people that have been well brought up, like myself, who had a great start in life, and you end up somewhere that you have never expected. So, we've got people that are doctors, nurses, lawyers. It's not just the low socio-economic, stigma that's out there. So, we continually have cries from families and people out there that don't know what to do. And with our clinical support team and our amazing care team that Leanne heads up, we have a series of resources, and we help people get connected with peer support and also counselling. But most importantly, we hear them. We hear the stories, and we provide the support that we can, whether it's legal or whether they need medical attention or police intervention. So we're here to help, guys. We don't tackle this from a perspective that we're going to stop this by force. We're not, and you can never force your loved one to stop using, but you can prepare yourself to have that conversation, and you can prepare the resources, because when they're hurting enough, you need to be ready to offer them the help. Where's your detox? What's the tripod system of support? What are boundaries? What's the conversation that you have with them that says cost versus the benefits? You need to be aware of where your local rehab and detoxes are. How long are they in detox for? How long is rehab for? You need to get familiar with all this information, and we'd like to help you with that. So, saying all of that, if you have a store and you're interested in putting a merchandise stand there and helping us raise funds, because we are funded, okay? We have approached government now, federal government, for funding. We've submitted a funding application, or a funding business case model, and we have put it in front of the health minister, and we're waiting to hear what comes out of the budget in April. But we are unfunded, and we do the good work. We do, with your help, with merch, with donations. Okay, all our donations are tax deductible. We are a DGR charity, and all our work is non-for-profit. I heard today we've got like 108 volunteers across Australia, and I think we have 3 very minimally paid, just surviving, paid staff, and we have offices that are donated through community, people in community, and we continue educating kids in schools. In workplaces we do education. We go into prisons, into mines, into youth justice, into child safety, and we do that in Victoria, Adelaide, Gold Coast and Cairns at the moment, and we will be starting, we've got some, I don't know if you remember, but our very first segment of Let's Talk About ICE, we did that with Jay, and Jay will be coming back on the show, and he's starting up a team up in WA, so we're really excited about that. So we will be sharing Let's Talk About ICE between the states, so you won't get to see and hear my voice every week. Sorry about that, but we're juggling things around and getting everybody to share together. Again, if you have a place for a merch stand, guys, give us a holler, private message us, and if you want to get involved in helping us put the freeze on ice in our nation. I just have to make a couple of announcements before we actually get on with the show. I just want to put out a reminder out there for the race day. Put up a video, tomorrow I'll do that, about all the auction items. You are not going to believe some of the auction items that we have. We've got signed boxing gloves and memorabilia from Jeff Horn, from the NRL players. We have some incredible things, and I'm not going to give away too much right now, but you are going to be impressed, and you need to have a look at that video, because we will be doing a live auction much like this, and you'll be able to bid on Facebook live video of the event, of the auction day there at the racetrack. But you don't want to miss out coming and hanging out with us, rubbing shoulders with celebrities, because there will be quite a few celebrities there. And I'm not going to disclose too much more, but I'll be trickling that out throughout the week. It's going to be a really fun day. It's 5 hours of a buffet lunch and all you can drink, beer, wine and soft drinks in a corporate box overlooking the track, and it's just going to be a phenomenal day. And all the proceeds, guys, go towards AARC, thanks to KB Supplies, who have been amazing. Brett, Sean and Christy have been amazing putting this together, and thank you to Helga as well for helping put this together. I won't be announcing tonight all the sponsors and all the people that are donating, but we'll be listing them along the bottom of the of this page. And guys, don't forget our Neo sponsor. We got Eagle Trailers and Campers. They have sponsored the brand, so we want to do a plug for them. Thank you so much, Brent, for believing in the product line and helping us do this. So I'm really grateful. What else do I have to say? I want to talk about some workshops, guys.
They can see the tops, but they can't see the tops.
What do you mean?
They want a closer view of the tops.
Oh, okay, you want a closer view of the tops. Hold on, let me show you the back.
Okay.
Hips can't see the tops, but
They see them hanging, but not...
that's the back. Can I peek through there? Hello. That's the back. Awesome, thank you. And you got Neo there, not even once, and that's the front, guys. So you just have a little small Neo there. You can roll up the sleeves. We're going to have, the range is actually not fully complete yet. We're going to have some singlets, some muscle tops, and some singlets for the girls for the gym. We've got a gym bag. What else do we have? Some key rings, and don't forget our mugs, and the 2 different types of caps. So we've got this trendy cap like that, yeah, and it's got the little brand at the front and no to ice at the back like that, not even once. And then we've got the flat cap, which the young ones love it. That actually, let me see if it's stuck. I can't take it off. I don't know. Can you see that? No, it's a bit to the side. But there's a flat cap as well, and the young ones are really into that. So if you have birthdays coming up, thanks, Brad. Can you bring it across? It's actually tied in. Here comes Dicky Nee. No, it's Dicky Lee.
Oh, I'm
sorry, I had to do that. That's terrible.
Oh, not even
It's
in the
okay.
shot.
It's alright. They get the idea. So it's a flat cap, guys, like that. It's just a plain, and it's got the strap, a different strap at the back. What do you call them, Brad?
Strap.
What did I just call you? Okay.
Oh, no, I don't know it.
Go. It's got like a strap that, you know, clicks in instead of the, you know what I mean, the Velcro stuff. So That's the caps. I just wanted to touch base too about our workshops, guys. We've been doing more and more workshops in prisons, and in youth justice and in workplaces. So if I don't know where you're working, or let your business know that you need to protect workplace health and safety. It's great to protect your workplace against the dangers of ice and other drugs. Have one of our guys come in there, do a workshop, or girls, and explain the dangers of this drug and what's in it and what it actually does long term. Because if one person in your workplace gets affected by this drug, it's going to affect everybody very quickly. It spreads, and until they start to see the negative signs and the impact. But that can cost your business and your workplace a lot of heartache, and it can cost your business a lot of money. Okay, because ice has no mercy. Once it gets into somebody, it takes over. Yeah, and people will steal. They won't turn up for work. There'll be productivity loss for your business. So you just want to do all you can to protect that. And also, if people are working with us, we want to make sure that we can protect them and their families as well. So there's a moral side to this as well. So get in touch with us, find out a little bit more about what we do for workplaces and prisons and youth justice and child safety. So we look forward to hearing from you and doing some workshops there. I'm going to take a seat on the couch because I have a very special guest awaiting to speak to you and to speak to me, and we're going to get a chance, an opportunity to get a look inside the heart of a mother who's been on a very long journey with her son through ice addiction. Now, I'm in awe of her and what she's learnt along the way, because she's really an amazing example to parents out there of what she's learnt. She can share with you and avoid a lot of heartache and pitfalls, because there is something that we speak about often on the show called boundaries and enabling. So we're going to have a bit of a discussion, and through sharing some of her story, I hope that you can learn something from this video. Please share this post on your page, because there are many families out there, guys, that are hurting, that don't know what to do, and that feel like they're alone. And you're not alone, and really stressing that out. We are here to help. We do have peer support counsellors that have been through the journey, and we'd like to help. So the family support number, guys, before we start, is 0481 844 555. Okay, or you can ring our head office on 075 665 6063, and we can connect you with your state office or your area manager to be able to support you through the journey. So, Brad, can we take a seat on the couch? I just want you to follow me. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for your patience. I know it's been a little bit different. I just wanted to showcase the new stand. And Sharon, thank you. Thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure.
Thank you for wanting to share. And I know it's a hard thing to do, to share and air out your dirty laundry. And as many people might say, oh, you don't want to talk about that in public. Why not? If somebody can learn something from somebody else's experience, whether even if it is negative, we're all human. We all fall and crash, and may not necessarily be drugs, but it may be, everybody has a skeleton in the closet. But if you can learn from that and you can actually use it to help somebody else, at least it's been used for good use. So I'm really grateful that you've come on the show and you want to share a little bit of your experience so that others can learn. Sharon, how many kids do you have?
I have two.
2 kids, and both boys?
No, I have a 37-year-old son,
Yeah.
who's my ice addict son, and I have a 26-year-old daughter.
I want to ask you something to start the conversation, and I know what the answer is going to be, but I've met you, and over the last few times that we've met, I can see that you're. I know a little bit about your history and your talents and businesses and stuff that you've run. But I bet when you started having your kids, you wouldn't have been prepared for this?
Never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd ever go on this ride.
Yeah.
Following my son in and out of jail, picking up the pieces for him, hearing his pleas of help. Never did I think I would ever go through this.
So, no parent does, guys. Sharon, you know, you're a working mum, you raised two beautiful kids. What happened? Like, when did you notice, like, something was not okay? You know, you put all this love into bringing up your kids, and then how did you notice that something was out of whack?
Unfortunately, with my son, he was diagnosed with being bipolar at an early age.
Mm-hmm.
From the time he was 17, he started getting involved in smoking marijuana, which led to speed. He found it hard then to maintain a job. He found it hard to maintain relationships. He did have relationships, and he has children to those relationships, but he always struggled.
Mm-hmm.
And he just found it so easy to get drugs.
Yeah.
It's like going to the corner shop and buying a packet of cigarettes.
Yeah. Absolutely, it's everywhere. So he started to, on that journey, using drugs to mask what was going on for him, and the fact that he wasn't coping with life or what was going on inside of him.
I think originally, like everybody, he used it for enjoyment,
Yeah.
but I don't think even he realised
Yeah.
the damage that was being done back then.
Yeah.
Because over the years he has stopped doing those things and maintained a job and lived a normal life, and then something will turn up and he just goes straight back to it.
You were going to say retaliate.
I was going to say
Yeah.
retaliate, yeah.
And that's what happens, you know, like, it's like, I'm not doing this life, whatever's happened, and he's not coping with it, it's like, I'm not doing this, so you retaliate. You can't go over there and say, I'm going to mask this, I'm going to do this anyway.
It tells me that he needs to block the world out.
Yeah.
And this is the only form of happiness that he can have.
Yeah, yeah. Which is not really happiness, because it's ending him up in prisons and
He's been in and
distance.
out of prison for 20 years.
Wow, wow. How old was he, Sharon, when you discovered that he was using drugs initially? Like, what age group?
Originally when he started using drugs, it was when he was a teenager, smoking marijuana. As far as heavier drugs, I believe that was when he was around 17 and he was first in prison.
So did you, like when you found out he was smoking marijuana, I mean, did you find a bong, or did you, somebody tell you, or did you suspect and have the conversation with him, or did you just
No,
hope that
actually,
he'd grow out of it, or?
back in the 70s, it was a common thing for a lot of people to smoke marijuana.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend at my house one day, and she was in my laundry, and I opened the laundry door, and she was giving it to my son,
Because it was
which blew me away that she actually did that.
Yeah.
But that started him on that.
Mm.
And as I said, by the time he got to 17, he dabbled with speed, and led to heroin, and he got off all those things, and then went to jail, come out, had no friends, had nobody.
Yeah.
His father's disowned him. I've always stood by him as much as I could, but unfortunately, this drug, this hideous, monstrous drug, is destroying him.
Yeah. It does hijack. It does hijack the person out of themselves. You know, it's almost like, you know, we have an analogy that we speak to parents, and it's like, love your child. I love you, but I don't love what you're doing. And it's almost like your child isn't not. He's in there, but he's masked with another entity, and that entity is ice. Ice takes over the person, and they'll do whatever ice tells them to do, and they'll do whatever they can for ice, you know, even if it means hurting their loved ones. And like, I mean, I've had quite a bit of a conversation with you, and you're a beautiful, loving parent who, you know, your heart goes out to your son. You really want, you know, wish nothing more than for him to be clean. Does he know that?
I hope he knows that. I keep telling him that I just want a good life for him because I know he is a good person.
Yeah.
And I'll always tell him that I love him because I do love him.
Yeah.
I want us to be reunited properly, not here and there.
Yeah.
He tells me all the time how much he loves me. And I've loved him, but unfortunately I haven't helped him. I thought I was helping him, but all I was doing was enabling him.
Tell me, Sharon, a little bit what you mean by that. Like, what is enabling it? There's a lot of parents out there that don't quite grasp that word. And but I love my kid. I don't want to see them suffering.
I was the same. I didn't accept that I was helping my son to the road to ruin. But every time my son sent me a message and he needed a feed, he needed money for accommodation, his car tyres blew out, he needed, Mum, please help me. I would always go to my bank and transfer it over. I would always go and get groceries for him, and I would pay his rent for him. I would do all these things because I was enabling him. And now what I know is by not enabling him anymore, I'm not going to be the reason my son dies.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not helping him feed his habit.
No.
And what that looks like is that, you know, the person that's using it, I know because I was one of those people, you have to hurt enough. You know, you have to hurt enough to go, I don't want this life anymore. And very unfortunately, the loved ones have to stand by and watch them hurt. But it's better to watch them hurt and turn their life around than to keep feeding that and allowing that habit to continue, because they're eating themselves from the inside out.
It's heartbreaking to have your son ring you and beg you to please just buy me a pizza. Please, just $20, Mum, just $20. Knowing that if you give him that $20, you give him that pizza money, they're not going to use it for that. They're going to use it for drugs. Even if you bought groceries, you're still enabling them because they're going to, when they get their money, they don't have to buy groceries because Mum's already bought them, so I've got more money to spend on drugs.
That's right.
When you pay the rent for them because they've lost their money, they've lost their wallet, they've gambled their money away, they don't have the money left, you're enabling them again because you're giving them money to pay their rent, buy their food, and they go and spend their money on the drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all about the drugs. And he doesn't want to be like that.
You've learned that the hard way because you've done it, and then you know you've seen the outcomes, and you know the story continues and continues. You know, so that's what we're trying to say here today, guys. That you know Sharon's talking from experience, and she's had to put certain boundaries. Yes, it hurts. Yes, she doesn't like to see her son going without food, but he has to learn if he's chosen that path, and that's the life. That's what it's going to bring. It's going to bring hunger, confusion, no money, no place to live, prison, you know, people chasing you with guns. It's a scary world, it's a scary place to live. So if you've chosen to live in Ice World, then you're going to wear the consequences of Ice World, and unfortunately you shouldn't continue to enable them and give them the tools. You're absolutely right.
That's right.
You know? So tell us a little bit about, if you don't mind, you know, some of the things that you kind of experienced with him. You know, did he go missing for days and
Oh,
come
definitely.
home
He would have binges where he would ring me begging for help, and then there'd be silence, absolute silence. I wouldn't hear from him for days. The effect on me was absolute torture, not knowing if my son was alive.
Yeah, yeah.
Dark time had come over night time, and I would be petrified for him.
Yeah.
Is he okay? Is he okay? Has somebody killed him? Has he been hit by a car? Where is he? If it's raining, has he got shelter? And then out of the blue, 3 or 4 days later, Mum, I need your help.
Yeah.
No, you need help, but I can't give you the help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You need to reach out and get help if you want help. fortunately, he's finally reaching out and getting the help that he wants.
How long has that taken, Sharon?
It's taken him years, actually. He recently took himself away from the situation and all the people he was involved in.
Yeah.
He got himself a job that he really enjoyed and something he has always done that he really enjoys doing. 1 month later, this time last week, and he met somebody and she enabled him. And now he's back to where he was again and he's lost everything again. That's why he's reached out now.
That is the risk, you know, the relapse risk that we speak about to people that are in early recovery. And, you know, I was one of those people, but, you know, we put a tripod system of support around the people that we're helping get clean. And we recommend that you don't get into a relationship for at least 12 months, okay? I know it sounds, you know, like a law or a doctrine or, you know, we're not going to make you do anything that you don't want to. So if you're that person out there and you are in early recovery, it's a recommendation because we've seen too many people fall back into the entrapment, meeting somebody and still not being strong enough in recovery to not fall over and relapse. It's really, really easy, you know, to get offered a pipe or to think that the pipe can enhance your sex life, or it'll be more fun to do something together with somebody and recall back on some other memories. So, you know, it takes 12 to 18 months for the brain to actually get its chemical balance right again. Then we need to recreate the neurological pathways that have been broken in your brain. You know, the serotonin levels need to come back up, the dopamine supply needs to come back. That takes time. While you're going on a roller coaster through the early stages of recovery, it's not fair to actually get somebody else to have to wear that roller coaster, come on that ride with you. You need to learn how to love yourself again and how to forgive yourself and how to actually get your body back to normality. So we do recommend that you don't, and we will be talking to your son about that, you know, not to jump into another relationship. Heal first, because you can't love somebody else until you love yourself. You know, and it takes a little bit of time to work through that. So if you're in early recovery, I hope you hear what I'm saying. It's not, I'm talking about intimate relationships. We all have friend relationships and group therapy, which is fantastic. And you need buddies, you need your peer support buddies, but I'm talking about intimate relationships, yeah? Because they can really be that thing that you know, fall over with, yeah?
Yeah.
So that's what happened with your son, and we hear a lot about, we hear a lot happening like that as well, you know?
Yeah, because he was away working, when he came home and then had this girl just happened to have been in the same area. It was just too easy and too much alcohol, and he went with the flow with things, and then before he knew it, it's all gone again.
What you find, a lot of people in early recovery, and well, sometimes in late recovery, because you get used to that clean life, decide that they don't want to drink because that may open a doorway. You know, we talk about gateway drugs and or, you know, places, people and situations. So you just got to avoid, you know, being vulnerable or in a position where you may fall over if you cherish your recovery, which I definitely do. And it's really hard to get past a certain point. You know, the first 12 months, it's incredibly difficult.
He's never had very many friends because they've all been mates or drug addicts.
And they're not friends.
And they're not friends. I've always said they're just associates. And the girl, even recently, she's obviously affected by drugs as well. And it might be okay for her, but it definitely wasn't okay for my son, because now he's lost his job, now he's homeless again. I got a message last night telling me how he just wanted to have pizza. Can I help him? And I had to say no. You have to say no.
Yeah.
You have to let them stand on their own 2 feet, because all you're doing is enabling them.
Yeah.
And I know that now. I didn't know it years ago, but I know it now.
Yeah. It's tough, isn't it?
Oh,
Shane?
it's heartbreaking.
Tough, yeah.
I have to convince myself of a night time when I go to bed in my nice clean sheets after having a nice clean shower and having a nice meal, go to bed and I put my head down and I go, don't think, go to sleep.
Yeah.
I say that to myself over and over again because there was a time where I could not sleep at night knowing that he didn't have all those things that he has had before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Knowing that he's a decent human being, he deserves to sleep in a bed, he deserves to have a decent shower, he deserves to have a decent meal.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you know, guys, if you are in the place of addiction like that, you actually deserve a life. You actually deserve the opportunity to live a life that you love. Yeah, and many people that we work with, they go, I didn't think I could ever get out of that cycle. I didn't think that I could ever have a life worth living, and now they are living their life worth living, and they go, man, I couldn't have done it without support, and people around who'd been there, and that can go, hey, don't step in that pit hole. You might, you might fall into that. So we join hands and we help. We help people who are in early recovery get through that. So we've got a question here, anonymous question asks, how has your journey affected your family? Wherever you are, yeah.
It's destroyed my family.
Yeah.
My son can't come to my home because he assaulted my husband 2 years ago, which is something that he has profusely apologised for. His sister, he doesn't want to know him because she doesn't do drugs. She doesn't want that influence around her. She loves her brother,
Yeah.
but she doesn't want to see him in that state.
Yeah.
She wants him in her life, but she can't because she can't tolerate to see him like that, and she's hurting for that.
Yeah, it's too painful. It would be too painful for her to see her brother.
Yeah. She waited for him for so long to come out of jail, and when he does, she sees him for a short time, and then he's gone again because he's back on the drugs, and he's swears a lot, and he carries on, and he's always so tough about everything. In reality, he's actually hurting.
Yes.
And he tells me how he hates being like this, and he hates how he's living, and he just wants to live a normal life. Yeah. And he just can't seem to get across that bridge to do it.
Yeah.
That's why I reached out for help for him.
Yep. And Sharon, you know, we hear that again and again, and I know that entrapment, because you want to stop that life, but you don't know how. Because, you know, when you try and not use, the depression, anxiety, psychosis, the paranoia increases, yeah, and the anger, and you can't, it's like somebody's cut off your air supply and you just end up busting. It's like a time bomb, yeah, and you end up busting, and you'll do whatever it takes to get the next hit, right? So you need help on how to do it, you know, and there are many ways. You know, we work with a lot of detoxes and rehabs and counsellors, AOD counsellors, and you know, it's trialing, but you know, we provide a peer support buddy for people stepping into early recovery, where, you know, mate, ring me when you're feeling, you know, I don't want to do this life anymore. You know, this is hard, man. Yeah, it's hard, but
And they
let's go
do
to a
say
meeting.
that. My son has said that to me. I don't want to do this anymore, Mum.
Yeah.
I don't want to live like this anymore.
Yeah.
He's tried to commit suicide several times.
Yeah.
He's begged me to try and get him out of the gutter.
Yeah.
There was a stage where he was living on the street. He told me he was eating out of rubbish cans. I nearly died. I felt like somebody stabbed me in the heart.
Yeah.
Because no matter how old they are, they're still your child.
It's still your child.
And you still care.
Yeah.
And you always will. But to know that you're helpless to help them.
Yeah.
And he asked the government for help. He's been to the hospitals and he got turned away because he had a criminal record. He got turned away from rehabs because they wouldn't take him. I didn't know where to go until I found this.
Well, we have a rehab that will take
Yes.
you. You know, we work with lots of different rehabs all around Australia, and there's just not enough, you know, not enough service providers out there. When people are really genuine to change, you know, we need to recognise that and be able to see through the manipulation, through the lies, through the hurt, through the destruction, and really only somebody that has been in that place can, can assess that and can really feel the person. And even then, sometimes you have to wait to see how serious they are for change. But you never give up on anyone. And we've had people out there that they've been in addiction for many years. And 7 years, one even 15 years, 17 years, and they've managed to make that transition into recovery, and now are living the life that they love, and reunited with their family, and got their job back and their self-esteem back, and forgiven themselves for who they've been through that journey. Nobody wakes up in the morning, Sharon, and like yourself, you didn't wake up thinking, oh, when these babies grow up that I'm loving and nurturing so much and putting my heart and soul into and cuddling and feeding. When he grows up, he's going to be a drug addict. You don't do that. Much like a person like myself, you don't start life and go, oh, at about the age of 40, I think I'll be a nice addict, It doesn't happen like that, guys, And there's all different ways that people fall into this entrapment or make wrong choices to pick up something, whether it's to mask, whether it's because their lack of awareness, because everybody else is doing it, there's peer pressure, because they just want to escape something. There's many different reasons, right? But the fact is, I'm sure that you can ask every person that we work with that has been in nice addiction, if they knew what they know now, would they do it? And the answer is always no way in hell. They would change that in a second. It's not fun. It's an entrapment. It starts out, you think you're going to have fun, but very, very quickly there comes a time and things change over, and you end up in another side of the world that you're entrapped in and you can't get out, and that's where your son is at. And it's your continued love. I love you. This is who you are. Do you remember when we used to do this, or when you used to play with your sister and bring out photos of your loved ones? And
I actually sent him photos regularly of his sister when she was a baby, sucking into his face. I sent him photos of myself and his sister, and just in the hope that I'll never give up hope.
Would remember who he is, really.
Yeah,
because he's not that
very
person.
proud. He's a very proud lad, and I know he hates what he's become. He doesn't like it. He tells me how he's worthless. He's not worth anything, and I always tell him, you are.
Absolutely.
Even if it's just to me and your sister, you are. Your life is worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Never give up.
And you know what? He's worth it to us. You know why? Because when he gets clean, we want to train him up and work with him so he can help other people.
He would love that, actually, because he's got a good soul.
I know, I can feel it, because the fruit never falls far from the tree. When the fruit drops off a tree, it never falls too far. So if you look at the heart of parents and family, you'll see that there's always a really good heart behind the people that end up in that way. They're soft, they're kind, and they believe people, and they just want to be loved, and they quickly fall into addiction like that. I mean, that's how I believe that happened to your son and myself as well.
Yeah.
And many of us, we just want to be loved, we just want to fit in, we just want to be accepted, we just want to be cool, and you end up walking down the road that you regret for the rest of your life.
And that's the other side of it. He lives with that regret.
Yeah.
He lives with that regret every day. And some of the messages he sends me and the phone calls, he tells me, I hate this life. I hate what I've done to you. I hate how you're always there for me. He actually told me recently that I don't ever want to see you again, because every time I see you, you're helping me.
Oh.
And all I did was drive him to his job.
Yeah.
But I was helping him.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I didn't feel I was enabling him. He was actually driving him to his job at the
job,
time.
yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, there are things that you can do, and we're not saying cut off your loved one. You know, the word enabling doesn't mean, you know, stop loving them or stop helping them. It means you have to choose what you're going to help them with, okay? And we can give you some tools. You know,
definitely.
there's a book that we have for families to read, and I haven't got the name of that, but it's about enabling. It's about not enabling, and what the difference is. You know, and our counsellors here, you know, when families come in and have their first meeting, they will talk to you about the different resources that we have that, you know, you can purchase online. We don't have it here in the office, but you can actually buy that online or in bookstores that are priceless. You really need to get these tools to know where's the boundary, what's okay, from lived experience, yeah, and professional psychologists that have put this all together. So you know, there's things that you can still feed somebody, you know, or you can still drive them to work because they're doing. You encourage the positive, but you don't feed the negative. So
Yes, exactly.
You know, very fine line.
I didn't understand about tough love. I thought I didn't really understand how I was supposed to explain to my son that I love him, but I'm not going to do this for you. Now I know how to do that. As much as it kills me inside, I know I have to be hard on some things, like you just said, but still always let them know that you love them.
Yeah.
They need that.
Yeah.
He needs to know that I'm always going to love him.
Yeah. And that you're ready to walk with them, and beside them and encourage them, and that you're not letting go of hope, that you're ready to walk with them when they turn their life around and step into recovery for themselves. They need to want to do it for themselves, you know. And that's the difference, you know. Don't cut them off, and you know that you can't forget your kids. They are addicted to a drug that has taken over their brain and their soul, yeah. And that makes them somebody else. It makes them do things that they are unable to control with the frontal lobe of your brain. And you know, I remember, you know, I don't want to be this person, I don't want to do this, but why do I keep doing it, you know?
Yep.
And you start to hate on yourself for it, you know, that you're hurting the people around you that you love the most. But, you know, you can come back from that. You know, I have an amazing relationship with my mum, who comes in here and helps the team and cleans and, you know, cleans the offices and comes to do sausage sizzles. Actually, she rang me today and said, I'm so proud of you, you know, and I've re-established the relationship with my kids. You know, it's taken a lot because they have to get the trust again. You know, they have to believe in you that, you know, you're not, you know, going to trash it again, that you're not going to, you know, throw it all up against the wall. But it's worth it. You know, I have grandchildren now, and I'm expecting my second grandchild. You can get it back, is what I'm saying, yeah? It's not about me, but you can get it back, and you're worth it. You know, and your family's worth it. You know, if you have a parent, if you're somebody in addiction and there's a parent trying to help you and shares video with you, it's because they love you, you know, and they want you to hear, you know, what it does to a parent, and they want you to know that AIC are here to help you. Okay, we've been through it. All of our buddies have been through it, and we know the way out. Yeah, and we're here to really help you do that. So, Leanne, is there any messages out there? Any questions? If you have any questions, guys, please
One
post
person
them up.
asked about the, is there any rehabs in the prisons systems? But I did mention to them that we do have workshops in the prisons. So
We are in some prisons doing some workshops. There are some pastors and some people that go into prisons to reach out for help, you know, various and few, but no real rehab program within prisons that I'm aware of anyway, and I could be wrong, but not that we're aware of. We know that there's a lot of ICE coming in and out of prisons, unfortunately.
Yes.
And that's really, really sad to hear. How it gets in there, I'm not really sure, but
My son's girlfriend took it into him.
really?
Yeah. Fortunately, she got caught So she had to do a few months in jail herself, which she should have, because all she was doing was helping my son, not helping my son, I should say, to rehabilitate.
Yeah.
She was poisoning him while he was in there.
Yeah.
He didn't need that when he was in there.
No. And you know, she was hijacked as well with the drug, so
Yeah.
not thinking rational, logic decisions weren't taking place in her brain because the frontal lobe can't operate with ice. That's the difference. That's why it's different to every other drug. Apart from the chemical imbalance and the destruction it does in the neurological pathway, it eats away at your vascular system. It burns out your, it triggers your heart to have overwork and have issues. It affects your kidneys, your liver, and continuous. I'm 6 years clean and my kidneys still have issues. I still get bleeding kidneys. I can't drink alcohol. So there's long-term repercussions from this drug. But when your frontal lobe is hijacked, you can't process logic, and that's the difference. So with the depletion of dopamine, so you don't feel good, dopamine makes you feel good. Depletion of dopamine, you don't feel good, you feel depression, you feel anxiety, then lack of sleep, so you get psychosis, you get paranoia, and the depletion of the chemical called serotonin in the brain as well, which the depletion of that makes sparks up anger and violence and anxiety, impulse action. So all of that together in somebody with the frontal lobe not being able to process logic, rational decisions, it's a time bomb waiting to happen, and the need to get out of that entrapment. The only thing that they feel that stops it is having another hit, because it numbs everything for a minute, So that's the entrapment that people stay in. Do you want to tell us a little bit? I know that you've got so many stories that you could share.
Sadly, yes.
Yeah. But, is there anything particular that stands out that maybe you want to share that, you trigger things that you learned, like that you thought, man, this is invaluable tool, I'm not going to, talk. I'll give you an example. I had family come in and, what are the triggers? Your son gets very violent. Okay, so what are the things that trigger him? So we talk to families about,
Frustration.
They learn how to manage, how to communicate. And that's the thing, how to communicate with your loved one.
I find at a distance these days is
Yeah.
a lot easier for me, because he's now come back to going through the cycle again, because he wasn't clean enough, wasn't long enough. He thought he was okay. Now he's living with regret. So his phone calls and his phone messages are very aggressive, and I can't personally deal with the aggression that he displays to me and says to me. So I find that very hard to deal with. But for what triggers him, I honestly think it's because he feels he lets himself down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's had a good life up until all this started, and then every time he takes drugs, he hates what he does, and then he just feels like, I'm going to lash out at Mum.
Yeah, because he's really angry at himself.
He is angry at himself.
Yeah.
He's not angry at me.
No.
I even sent him a message last night saying, I know I know I can't talk to you until you can be calm. I realise that you're very angry and aggressive, and I realise it's not at me.
Yeah.
It's just me letting him know that I know that what you're saying is not at me, but I'm hearing it.
Yes.
And then I know that what's triggered him recently is because now he's homeless again.
Yep.
Now he's lost his job. He's waiting for his pay to go through, so he's got no money. And I'm not going to enable him.
Yeah. And to a mum that continues to love on him, he's feeling shame, anger, not good enough. There's all these emotions going out, right, building up. and that's why, you know, it's, you know, that term, you hurt the ones that you love the most.
Oh, most definitely.
And that,
Yeah.
you know, he has to come out somewhere, and it's generally to the person that you love
There's
the
a
most.
lot of times I feel like saying to him, I'm not the doormat that you can wipe your feet on. But I find if I can bite my tongue as a straight person and keep myself in check, it will also help him by not giving him a reason to have that level of aggression.
That's
and
awesome.
not take it out on me.
Yep.
Because I know right now he's very remorseful for everything that's going on the last few days. Because he had it all up until a week ago, and now he's lost it all in him already. And I know that he's unhappy with that, but it wasn't my doing.
No, he chose it.
He's let himself down on that, and now you say about triggers, he knows he's let himself down. Now he's hating on himself, and he doesn't know who else to take it out on because he doesn't have any of these so-called friends.
That's right. They all go very quickly, you know.
When the money's out, they're out.
That's right. That's right. And you know, I've been in that space where you're so angry at yourself, you don't want to, you don't want anybody else to. I lock myself away, you know. But we want to help. We want to help you. If you're somebody in that position, we want to help you. Yeah, we want to walk with you. And not that you're incompetent, but it's hard. It's a hard road at the beginning of recovery, and having the tools and the support network around you is so important. You know, a very small amount of people actually come out of ice addiction. You know, actually 2%, and come out. You don't come out unscarred, but you can turn your life around, and you can do it. And so we're here to help your son and others out there that are going through that, because you don't know what to do. You know?
No, seem to run out of your own mental resources of how can I help? How can I help? Money after money after money. Obviously now, after years of this, I've realised all that money, I should have been around the Caribbean or somewhere and enjoyed it myself.
Yeah.
And he regrets that as well. And it's like I've added to it by helping him with all this.
There you go.
I've added to his guilt
I see.
because he feels like he's taken it from me. I'm in ill health, and every time he mentions my health and I tell him, he goes, oh, I can't deal with this. And I feel like I'm adding to it, so I tend not to say these things. I can deal with my issues, but not to make it any harder for him. I've been told by a lot of my so-called friends and people I know that he's just a waste of space, just give up on him, he'll never be anything. Well, they're wrong, because he will always be something, because he'll always be my son.
That's right.
And I love him.
That's right. That's awesome. You never give up.
I'll
You
never give up on him.
We've had people in addiction 21 years, 17 years, and they've managed to get out and turn their life around. And you know what? That person does come back. Yeah, that your son is your son is in there. You know.
I feel that if you give up on them, if you totally abandon them and they've got nobody, they will just keep on going until they end up in a gutter dead somewhere. But if you love them enough to put up with all the crap, listen to all the stories, whatever it takes, but just be there. Have somebody be there for them. Let them know you love them. Even if it's a phone call or a text, just let them know you love them.
And I often talk to a lot of parents and say, you know, send them regularly messages of pictures of when they were kids. Say, you know, I love you, don't love what you're doing, I hope you're okay. When you're ready for change, send them this video. Send them videos of other people who have been through addiction and where it took them, you know, and say, I don't want you to end up like this. I don't want you to end up going into jail. I don't want, you know, we miss you at home. We miss that fun, loving, or you know, happy, or you know, we miss playing cricket with you, or you know, remind them about the good
I haven't
things,
had
you
a
know?
Christmas day with my son for 15 years.
Wow.
Last Christmas I took him a pair of shoes as his Christmas gift, and I didn't even see him.
Let's
And
hope
it's
that
heartbreaking.
this year we can change that. Hey, let's hope that he.
Well,
can
he's changing
see,
it because
you
he's
know,
by
he
me
has to.
by me finding this, I asked him if he wanted to join the group, and he did. I didn't make him join it. He did that himself. And I told him how I intend to be getting involved in fundraising for the group here and trying to help people. And he has a heart.
Yes.
And he's reached out now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's the thing, you know, there is somewhere that families can come, get support, and also help other people and learn skill sets. You know, that's what we want to be able to give some skill sets, some tools, and to be able to open the doorway to extend a help to your child, your loved one, your sister, your mother, whoever it is in your family that's using, where we could create a pathway to have a conversation and to say that this is the way. You know, I kid you not, and I can't say it, you know, so many times that people that are in ice addiction want out. They do want out. They just don't know how, you know. And if you can show them the way out, and that's why your son did join, you know, AARC. And we're talking about joining the army, guys. You know, you can join the AARC army. Click on the like on the Facebook page, share the page. You know, tell people where they can get help, and you know, join the fight against ice. So if you get your kid to join, you know, say, you know, join this and have a listen to some of these videos and have a listen to where this is going to take you and the damage that you're actually doing to yourself and your family. We look forward to working with your son, Sharon, and we can't make people do anything they don't want to do, but we certainly can light the way and the positive path ahead if they choose to get clean, and we can give them that support. At the end of the day, everybody has their own free will, and they have to make the choices for themselves, but we can also show them that if they keep walking down that pathway, where they're going to end up, because there's many that have gone before them. And this drug has no mercy, and it doesn't discriminate. You know, it'll destroy the person totally.
I've seen my son on marijuana, speed, heroin even, and he's managed to be whatever. I don't even know how to describe it, but he's survived all that okay. Not this drug.
Yeah.
Not this drug. This is the most hideous drug I've ever seen in my entire life, just the effects. Because there's times I can't believe the things that, not only my son, but other people I know, the things that they do to their families, the ones that they love. And I know they're hurting.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that, although the families try to help, it's going to take somebody else from, somebody outside a family.
Yes.
For them to listen and to have that support of somebody else.
Yeah.
Because I think they're ashamed of when it comes to their family to talk to their families about it.
Yeah, because they feel ashamed, they feel angry at themselves for hurting their family and putting them through what they've put them through. You know, we do a lot of workshops in schools, Sharon, and when we go in, when we finish the workshop, the teachers often say to us, you know, the information that you shared on the PowerPoint, we could have shown the kids that, but we couldn't have shared what you shared with these kids because it was a lived experience, and it was the journey and what we put that into real life.
It's not textbook.
No.
You're not reading it out of a book. It's real life. You've lived it. I've lived it.
And our opening statement is, we're not your teacher, we're not your parent, we're not even here to tell you don't do drugs, but we're here to share something with you that we wish had been shared with us before we got damaged by this drug. And it, you know, it's a whole different conversation when an addict is talking to an addict, and you know where that person is, you know the pain they're feeling, you know what they're thinking because you were there. So it's a different conversation with the people that do the workshops with these kids, because they can have a real conversation, and these kids know it. They're not stupid. They can ask the real questions, you know, and they get to walk on the journey with the right information. Our message out there, guys, is not even once. If you are a family member that needs support, please reach out to us. The number to do that on is 0481 844 555, or you can reach out on our Facebook page. Sharon, before we go, you know, this show reaches quite a lot of families out there, anywhere from 7,000 to 22,000 hits per show. You got an opportunity, and you're right down the barrel. If you have anything that's in your heart that you want to share with these families, any last minute advice that you'd like to share with these families, I'd like you to do that now because we're about to wrap up.
The only thing I could say to any mother or father out there is that if you really love your children, don't ever give up on them, because they love you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Sharon. Thank
That
you for
probably got
sharing.
me.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
You're very welcome.
Guys, if you want to help, what we do, and so that we can help more families, there is a donate now button on your screen. We do need resources. We do need, to pay rent and internet and phone lines and so forth. And we're doing this without any funding. So if you want to help us be able to help more families out there, guys, please see our donate now, join the army and donate on our site so that we can have a wider reach. Guys, thank you very much for joining the show tonight. I'm a bit shaken because I can feel the mother's heart. But yeah, if you have any questions, we're here to answer them. We have counsellors online, and we're happy for you to reach out. Guys, good night, and we look forward to seeing you next Thursday on the show. Don't forget to share this video, yeah? Thank you.